This is session number 12 in the Alcoholic Rehabilitation Series. To begin this session, let yourself relax completely. Become as comfortable as you can. Let each of the muscles of your body release themselves of the tension, letting them go into a completely relaxed state. You're becoming more and more relaxed. Your whole body's going into a state of deep, deep relaxation. Before we introduce the next scene, we're going to talk about some of the ideas behind drinking, some of the reasons for drinking. Somebody, somewhere, right now, wants you drunk. This sounds strange, but it's true. They want you drunk so that they can say, "I told you so. See, I knew you would be a failure. I knew you wouldn't make it." They want to show how they have succeeded in life. Their success looks so much better because you failed. When they lectured at you about drinking, quite often they were pushing you into taking a drink, hoping you would drink so that they could avoid their duties, their obligations. How many times has the sloppy housewife infuriated her husband so he gets drunk, then she feels no obligation to do the work. Why should she for a drunken slob? They want to laugh at you, point their fingers at you. They want to see you rolling around on the floor, helpless. And to do this, they'll give you lectures, telling you, "Don't you dare drink." And of course, to prove that you are a man, that you'll do what you want, you do drink. You have a great deal of determination, strength, and willpower. But the willpower is directed against those people who are giving you orders. The orders are don't drink. On one level, the order is don't drink. But on another level, it's please get drunk and fail so I can feel good, so I can justify and forget my mistakes. Maybe you had a brother or a sister. They were always the shining light. You were sort of a half-wit of the family. But now you know they were the shining light only because you helped. You did your best. You worked right along with them to make them the shining light of the family. The worse you were, the drunker you were, the crazier and sicker you got, the better they looked. Without you to compare with, they would have been just mediocre, just average, nothing unusual. You made them, those people in your past, what they were, because they always had you as an example. Any light looks bright in a dark room, and you never made them look bad by looking good yourself. Now, you're getting a little bit tired of making other people look good by you playing the drunk for them. Now in this scene, imagine yourself at home with your wife or some woman. Just imagine yourself in a family situation. You've been out of work for a little while, but you've been looking for work the last few days. You've run here and there looking for a job. Now you're sitting at home, relaxing, having a cup of coffee, figuring that you'll hit it again tomorrow, make a few calls, but you need a little rest from this routine of looking for work. And then this woman comes into the room. She stands there. She sees you relaxing. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. She looks at you angrily. And now we're going to show you the setup for drinking. How she can force you out to get a drink. She stares at you, and then she says, and imagine this just as though it were going on right now. You're a little apprehensive. She says, are you going to lie around all day doing nothing, or are you going to finally go look for work? Look at her, you tell her, I'm resting. She says, resting up from what? Resting up from being a drunken bum? This triggers you off. Become furious, in a rage. You can't control it. You say, don't call me those kinds of names, you bitch. I'll look for a job when I'm damn good and ready. She says, yeah, when hell freezes over. Now you're really mad. She says, yeah, I know. Just like all the other times, you'll look for work. You're very angry. You're in a rage. You say, I don't have to take this crap from anybody. I'm leaving. Don't wait up for me. And she says, this is where she sets you up for the drinking. You're on your way out the door, maybe to just get away, maybe to take a walk to cool off. But she says, don't you dare take a drink while you're gone, or you've had it. And you remember that. And of course now, you have no choice. You have to prove that you can do what you want, and you head for the nearest bar. Going into the bar, imagine yourself, you're seeing yourself walking into this bar now. You're still angry. Walking up to the bar, and you order your favorite drink. He has to wait on another customer down the bar, and this makes you angry. The delay. You want your drink right now. And you raise the drink. It finally comes. You raise it to your lips and drink it down. Feels good going down. But suddenly the scene changes. You don't know how long it's been since you had that first drink, but now you must have been drinking heavy. You somehow got to bed. You're in bed. You're sweating. You're starting to have a nightmare. You know it's a nightmare, but you can't wake up. In this nightmare, your whole body is frozen. You're very tight, rigid. You can't move. In the nightmare, you died, and they put you into a coffin. You can feel the coffin being lowered into a grave. You're lying in this coffin. The plush upholstery of the coffin pressing against your body. It jiggles and jerks as they lower you down into the hole. You're terrified. You're frightened. It's pitch dark. You're afraid. You feel bumping on top of the coffin. It's dirt. Your air is being cut off. You're beginning to suffocate in the coffin. It's dark. You can't seem to breathe. You're gasping for breath. You can't get any air. You're afraid that you're really going to die. Your throat is clamped shut. You can't get any air at all. It is pitch dark. You gasp for breath. You try to call out for help. You can't form the words. You can't get your air. You sit up, and you're awake now. It was just a dream, but you find you still can't breathe. You're still suffocating. The booze paralyzed your breathing mechanism. Finally, you gasp. You get one gasp of air. You're able to get some air. You take another gasp. You cry out for help, but nobody's there. You're still gasping for air. Climbing out of bed in the dark. The room seems to be full of red, staring eyes. You're frightened. You're dizzy. Stumbling over to the wall, still hard to get your breath. Clicking on the lights. The eyes go away. It's still hard to breathe, but at least you're alive. You know the booze can paralyze your drinking, your breathing mechanism. Sitting on the edge of the bed, shaking and trembling, you're afraid to go back to sleep because you're afraid you will choke to death. You sit there trembling for a long, long time. Now let yourself relax again, going back into a relaxed state. We're going to play that same scene over again with a different ending. We're going to practice a different way of handling the irate female. The angry woman, how to handle the pressure put on you. And during this whole sequence, you're going to remain completely relaxed. You're taking a deep breath now. Take a deep breath. Letting yourself go back into a relaxed state. You're sitting at home having that same cup of coffee. You've been looking for work. You're going to go look again the next day, but today you're resting up. This woman comes into the room and starts picking at you. Are you going to lie around all day doing nothing, or are you going to look for work? She says. You look over. This time, you're telling yourself, relax, relax. I'm not going to let her push me into anything. Say, I'm resting. She says, resting? Resting up from what? Resting up from being a drunken bum? The other time you jumped up and ran out of the house and got drunk. This time you say to yourself, relax. Just let yourself relax. Feeling, a relaxed feeling, peaceful, calm, come over your whole body, in spite of what she's saying, in spite of what she's trying to push you into. And you may end up getting out of the situation anyway, but it'll be on your terms this time. You're sitting there. You've said nothing because you've been busy allowing yourself to relax completely. She's becoming upset because you're not reacting, because you're not jumping up in anger. She says, "Why do you just sit there? Why don't you answer me?" And you say, "Do you want me to answer?" She says, "Yes, I want you to answer. I want to know why you are wasting your life and ruining my life. Don't you have any ambition at all?" You're telling yourself, relax, stay relaxed, stay calm. Completely relaxed, figuring out a strategy, a way to handle this without being pushed into something. So you say to her, "You've asked 3 questions. Which do you want me to answer first?" Because quite often she's confused you by throwing one question after the other at you. You start defending yourself, answering these questions. Before you get one question answered, she's thrown another one at you. Pretty soon you're confused and angry. This time, you're going to carefully watch what she's doing. And to watch this and fight it, you need to remain relaxed with a clear mind. So she says, "You're evading again. You're avoiding the truth. Just answer me. Don't try to get out of the truth." So you say again, "You asked 3 questions, all run together. Which question do you want me to answer?" She says, "You're hiding again." "Okay, answer this question. Why don't you have any ambition?" You think about that. You feel like saying, "Go to hell," or saying, "I do have ambition," but instead you say, "That's an accusation. You're accusing me. That's not a question. You're talking like everyone's agreed that I have no ambition. You think so, I don't think so. I've done worse than some, better than some. Why don't you say what you think, instead of trying to get me, just by answering that kind of question, to admit I have no ambition? If I admitted that, I would have to quit trying. I think I've worked hard enough." She says, "I don't think you have. You've ruined me. You're a lazy, no-good bum." So you answer, "I said I would discuss things with you. If you think this gives you the right to use me as your whipping boy, you're mistaken." She gets upset at this and yells because she is really angry now. You won't let her abuse you. You won't let her beat up on you verbally. You won't let her start the fight she wants. You have to keep doing this until she learns it does no good to try to abuse you. And you're still completely relaxed. Now take a deep breath and relax yourself even more. Think of your muscles. Just let yourself go limp, completely relaxed. So she says, all right, I'll ask you a question. Why aren't you out looking for work? And you say, well, I'll tell you, because I've checked the papers, there's nothing there today. I need a chance to relax. Looking for work is hard work itself. Getting turned down is hard. I can only take it so many days in a row, and then I need a breather to collect my senses. I can't make a good impression if I'm beat from running from one place to the other. She says, are you ever going to get a job? You say, I sure hope so. I have applications in a lot of places. And then you've been calm and relaxed while you said this. You've answered her questions. And now you're planning a counter-attack. You're planning a way to get her off of this accusation kick. And so you say you're planning a way to counter or fight her question method, the way she confuses you with one question after another. You're going to do this by using her own method. So you say, now, let me ask you a question. Are you ever going to let me relax a little today so I can be in shape to go look for work tomorrow? And she does exactly what you knew she would do, which is ignores your question and asks you another question, as though your question is totally unimportant. For her to answer your question would mean she's backing down, she's getting off your back. She doesn't want to do that. She asks another question very forcefully. Are you going to support this family or not? She says. You say, you didn't answer my question. She answers, you didn't answer my question. Are you going to support us or not? And so you say, that's right, I didn't answer your question, but I answered two questions just before that the best that I could. Then I asked you a question which you have not answered. Are you going to answer it? Or are you the only one who can ask questions? She says, I want you to answer my question. She's trying to bully you now into confusion, into anger, into drinking. You say, I know you want me to answer your question, but you seem to feel that all your questions have to be answered before a single one of my questions has a right to be answered. You seem to think you have more rights to having your questions answered than I do. And she continues, I want to know if you're going to get a job and support us or not. You tell her, I told you I was going to try. Now I want to know if you're going to keep picking on me and accusing me of things and running me down so that I don't get a chance to relax, which I need to go out and even look for work. At this point, she is confused because she expected you to start raving and ranting, but you've been completely relaxed during this, and she still refuses to answer your question, because if she said, yes, I'm going to keep bugging you and not let you relax, she would be taking responsibility for what she's doing. If she says, No, I'm not going to keep bugging you. I'll let you relax. She would be giving in, and she doesn't like to do that because she likes to feel that she's perfect and you're the one who has made all the mistakes. But you caught her in the kind of trap she usually catches you in. And so she mutters to herself in confusion, but has to fade away. She's walking away, and you won this round. You feel really good. You feel completely relaxed still. Your thinking was clear during the whole scene, the whole session with her. You demanded and got your right to relax at home without having to run out and drink. You demanded and got a day of leisure, and you continue relaxing, making the best use of this so that you can go out and get the best job you're capable of doing. And you're feeling really good because you know that the whole scene could have had a different ending. Now let yourself relax even more, going deeper, deeper into a state of complete relaxation, feeling better and better about yourself, about the way you handled that last situation, about the way you were able to fight off somebody's controlling you. In this next sequence of scenes, we're going to practice turning down, taking a drink. You're going to imagine the following, just as though it were actually happening at the present time. You must feel yourself into the situation. Notice all the details. You've been out taking a walk, trying to fill some time. You're in a familiar neighborhood. You recognize the houses. Walking along. It is just about sundown. The sun hasn't quite set yet. You find yourself in front of a friend's house. From inside, you can hear voices and people laughing. You go up to the door. Your old drinking buddy is there. He has a glass in his hand. He tells you to come on in, join the party. You hesitate just a moment, then go in. Before you even sit down, he's pouring you a drink. You sit down, he hands you the drink. You don't want to drink, but on the other hand, you don't want to hurt his feelings. You know how hurt somebody can get if they offer you something and you don't take it. But even so, you set the drink down and look at it. Have a drink, your friend says. Meanwhile, you're saying hello, greeting some of the other people there, hollering across the room. They all seem to be about half stoned, half looped already. There's a lot of booze there. They will probably drink till it's all gone. You can picture yourself, what you'll be like in a few hours if you start drinking. You'll probably be passed out on the couch, running around drunk, shouting this or that, telling people what a man you are. You don't like that picture. You decide you don't want that, but you don't want to leave just yet. You push the drink away. Imagine yourself just pushing it across the table. Imagine yourself, now you're seeing yourself reaching over, pushing the drink away, and immediately you have a great feeling of relief. You really feel good about pushing that drink away. Inside, you have just a whole feeling of excitement, of joy, because you really did something that was hard. You say, "I'd like a Coke," if you have one. He becomes a little angry. "What? You don't want a drink of this good booze?" he asks. You just smile and say, "No, a Coke will be fine for me." He seems a little upset about this. He really wants you to take that drink. He doesn't want you to sit there sober while he's drinking. You decide to just not even bother arguing with him. You say, "Anybody want this drink?" And someone else takes it right away. You get up, walk into the kitchen, and pour yourself a Coke. It tastes really good. You're surprised how good it tastes. It's cool, it's refreshing, just like all the ads say. Goes down nice and smooth, and you're feeling really good, feeling strong, because you push that drink away. You know you've got some things to do in the morning, and you know you want to be able to get them done, not be lying in bed or in jail with a hangover. You sip your Coke, watching the people there. They're talking loudly, talking about the good times they've had, talking about the good drunks they've had. They're spilling their drinks all over things because they're already half smashed. You find yourself being somewhat disgusted by what is going on. They're so busy talking away at each other without really listening, they don't even notice when you finish your Coke and quietly walk out. As you walk out, leaving the booze and the drunks behind you, you feel really good. You feel completely relaxed, completely at ease, better than you felt in a long time. You have no regrets about leaving. You're taking a long walk. Finally, you find yourself looking out over the bay. It's beautiful. The sun is just now going under the horizon. The sky is lit up like a Roman candle. The clouds have a reddish glow. You can see this just as though you were there right now. You're experiencing this with all of your senses. So glad that you haven't numbed your ability to look at this with the booze. Watching the clouds, the fading sun reflecting on the water, sailboats floating in the harbor. You feel like you're on top of the world. You're looking down over a very beautiful scene. You watch as the sun sets, the colors deepen, deeper reds, violets. The whole sky is bright with beautiful colors. You think how much better I am how much better I feel standing here, watching this scene, than I would if I was sitting and drinking myself into a stupor. You remember other good times you've had in that bay you're watching. You remember sitting on a boat out in the bay with your fishing pole cast in the water waiting for a bite, just enjoying the leisure of a well-deserved rest. The sun sets, you're walking back along the streets near your home. It's almost evening. The sun is just below the horizon. There's a little breeze blowing. It was warm during the day, but now the breeze is cool and refreshing. You can feel the cool breeze on you now, as if you were actually there walking along the street. Notice the feeling of the sidewalk under your feet as you walk along, a light, happy feeling. You're letting your feet take you where they want to, feeling the muscles in your legs going through the rhythm of walking. Stretches your legs. It feels good to just walk along, occasionally passing somebody. You walk past a baseball game going on in the street, just about ready to break out because the light is getting dim. The kids are hollering, hitting the ball. You enjoy watching them for a minute playing. You notice the trees. It's nice to have a bit of green in the city. And you're thinking about a woman that you've known. Think about this. It could be your wife. Could be somebody you just met. As you walk along, you find thoughts of her creeping into your brain. You can't seem to stop thinking about her. You've wanted to get close to her, get more acquainted with her. You wanted to touch her, but you were afraid she wouldn't like it. Been over, visit her a couple times. You enjoyed yourself. She seemed to enjoy herself. You found you had a lot of things to talk about. She seemed able to talk about anything, seemed interested in what you had to say. And then you wondered, why didn't you make a pass at her? You decided that you had liked her and respected her too much to try to push yourself on her too quickly. She's not a cheap barmaid. She seems to be a woman with real class. Not rich, but just a solid citizen, a good, reliable person, the kind you always wanted, but seemed to have trouble getting to know. Something always got in your way. You spent so much time in bars, all you ever met were barmaids. You always thought you weren't good enough for a good woman. You told yourself you just wanted a quick peace and chased the easy women to avoid the chance of being rejected and pushed aside. Now you've been seeing the kind of woman you always wanted. You wonder what she thinks about you. You can hardly stand not knowing for sure. You haven't been drinking for some time now. Your job's been going really good. And what's important, you haven't even told this woman about your alcohol problem that you used to have. You know, the more you talk about it, the more you can get people to tell you to stop drinking. And then, the more they tell you to stop, the more you want to prove you're a man and you'll drink if you want. By never mentioning it to this woman that you like so much, you avoided this whole hang-up, lectures. They can't lecture you on something they don't know about, and they don't need to know because it isn't a problem anymore. It doesn't really matter that you used to have a drinking problem. Why dig up the worst part of your past when you can put the best foot forward? All these thoughts are going through your mind as you walk down the street, crossing the street, noticing the cars parked along the road, stucco houses with the lawns, some people standing out in their yards in the early evening watering their lawns, nodding to you as you go by. You can't seem to get this woman off your mind. She seemed lonely, glad to see you, to be with you. You were lonely. You seem to have hit it off together. Will she reject you, though? It's always the question in your mind. Will she leave you? You can hardly stand the thought. Then you remember the others, how many times you've been put aside. How many times you thought you were going to be put aside and got drunk, and sure enough they did. You both had an excuse then. Who wants to be with a drunk? How many times have you made a scene? You were afraid they would kick you out anyway, so when they did, you had gotten it over with quickly. You remember getting drunk, showing up at their places, watching them get angry, and it was all over with. You were relieved. That way you didn't have to worry about losing them. It was all over. But you were lonely again. Will you do the same thing this time? You're still walking along the street. A woman coming home from the grocery store drops her packages. You help her pick them up. You smile when she says thank you. Then you walk on, still wrapped up in your thoughts about this woman you've gone out with twice now. Why are you so worried about her? It seems like you haven't been this excited about someone since you were a senior in high school, or this worried about someone, whether they would like you or not. Then you remember why. Whenever you were worried before about a woman, you always took a drink, which took the worry away. But in the long run, it took the woman away too. You can hardly stand not knowing, does she like you? Will she still like you next week? If you tried to kiss her, would she just get angry and slap you, or tell you to get out? Your feet have been guiding you. You've been letting them take you wherever they wanted to go. Suddenly, you find yourself standing in front of the liquor store. The neon lights of the store flash out at you. The different signs seem to be calling you. Bergie, Bergie, drink Seagrams. Lucky Lager flashes off and on. You can see the neon signs in the liquor store window blinking off and on, beckoning you, calling you, begging you to come in. Take home a six-pack or a case of Bergie or a quart or a half-gallon. Get rid of the thoughts about that woman. You're really tempted. For the first time in months, you find yourself really tempted. You know if you'll take a drink, you'll soon not be worried about the woman at all. You'll probably go home, call her up and give her hell over the phone for no reason when you're half loaded. And that will take care of that. But you don't want that. You've been that route 100 times before. So you find yourself taking a step backwards, away from the liquor store. Another step, and another. Then you turn and just walk away down the street. The neon signs fade into the distance, blinking away down the street, calling the lonely out from the streets. It was hard, but you did it, and you feel really good about it. You feel a lightness in your whole body. You're completely relaxed, becoming even more and more relaxed as you walk away, feeling pleasant sensations running down your back, Your stomach feels good. Your head is clear. You breathe the cool night air. You haven't felt this good for a long, long time. And now your feet are walking faster, faster. This time you know where they're taking you, closer and closer to her house. You can't find the answer to whether she likes you or not in the bottle. You're going to find out the only way you can from her. But you still feel as jittery as a schoolboy, in spite of feeling very proud of yourself and so good about walking away from the liquor store. You're finally in front of her house. You walk up to the front steps. You're so excited. You can't remember being so excited, and afraid, too. Your heart's pounding. You're facing it. You ring the bell and your heart seems to be in your throat. You ring it again, hoping she is home. Then hoping she isn't home. Then hoping again she will be home. She answers the door. She stands looking at you. She looks beautiful to you. She looks more beautiful than you ever remembered. You know she's not a raving beauty, but she looks that way to you right now. You don't say anything, you just stand there. She stands there looking at you. You talk to her with your eyes. You just stand there and drinking in her eyes. This will be the end of session 12. Let yourself become roused up, letting your eyes open up, becoming alert, but still relaxed.